Hey guys, it's Nelly. Welcome back to my channel. I have a wig on today, my favorite wig at the moment. So if you can see something that you're not supposed to see, I am very sorry. I am still kind of playing with it and seeing my favorite way to wear it and all that stuff. Today's video is a very exciting one because I am going to be showing you guys how to use the Laura Lee Los Angeles palette and a little mini review slash first impression. This is the eye look that I created. I think it's very beautiful. It's very soft. Perfect for beginners like this palette, which you guys will see my opinions at the end. So I'm not going to drag out the intro too long. So if you want to see how I created this eye look and my thoughts and opinions on the Laura Lee Los Angeles palette, then just keep on watching. Okay, so when you receive your palette, this is what your palette looks like. This is the box that it comes in. It has a really pretty silver Laura Lee Los Angeles logo, and then the box has some pink flowers, and then you have the name of the palette right down here. And then when you turn the palette to the back, you have the logo once again, you have some of her social media, and then you have the formulas. Once you open it up, you have a very nice sparkly packaging. Again, you have the same logo in the front, but this time it's like a blush rose gold pink. And then you have the name of the palette right down here. When you turn the palette to the back, you have her social media accounts and some more information. And then right here in pink, you have a cute little kitty cat. My palette is gonna look like a hot mess because I actually dropped my palette. So I actually broke the eyeshadow cookie, but I just kind of stuffed it in there and it's good to go, but it is a little messy. So yeah, once you open it up, you have the same pink flowers that you do in the box, and then you have a nice, really good mirror that comes with the palette. You do get 10 eyeshadows and the palette retails for $40. If you split that, you are paying $4 per each eyeshadow. Here is a standard eyeshadow. This is Makeup Geek's Cabin Fever. This is what we're used to see out in the market. And here it is side by side with one of Laura Lee's, and you can definitely tell that it's the same size. Makeup Geek retails their eyeshadows for $5. So I do feel like even if these are $4, I have seen palettes that bring more shadows that are great quality for a lot cheaper, because this palette retails for $40. I do think that's a little bit steep, but you never know. Maybe the eyeshadow, the formula took a long time to create. Maybe the packaging was a little bit more expensive. So there's a lot of factors that go into the price of the packaging. From the color selection, I can tell that this is the palette that a lot of people will love because it has that warm, beautiful undertone that a lot of people are obsessed with. So I'm gonna prime my eyelids, I'm gonna zoom you guys in, and then we're gonna get started trying these eyeshadows. The first shade that I'm gonna take is called Okie Dokie, which is this matte white shade right here. I'm gonna take this and I'm going to apply it all over my lid to set the eyelid. And that is very, very pigmented. Like, it's a stark white, which I like. So now that that's all over the lid, I am going to take the shade Bomb Diggity, which is this shade right here. It's a really pretty transition shade. It's that very popular poopy brown color. So I'm going to take that using a Sigma E25, and I'm going to place this in the crease. So I like it because it has pigmentation, but it's not crazy pigmented from the beginning, which is nice because you always want to build up instead of going in with a lot of product. And I think Laura Lee actually mentioned that in her video, that she wanted a light application and then you can build as you go, which I think that's great, because especially if you are a beginner, you don't want an eyeshadow that's crazy pigmented from the start, because that's when things can go wrong really quickly. Okay, going in with the shade Cray Cray, which is this one right here. This is a nice caramel toned shade. I'm taking it now with a Sigma E35. This is a tapered blending brush. I'm gonna pick some of this up, tap off the excess, and again, I'm going to concentrate this. That is pigmented, I like that. Okay, so I'm going to concentrate this again in that crease, but keeping it a little bit lower than the first shade. I'm also going to concentrate a little bit of this right here in the outer corner and blend it inwards. So I'm going to go in with a little bit more of Bomb Diggity and just blend out the edges just a bit. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of Cookie, which is this purpley chocolate brown color. I'm gonna take this brush has no name, but it's just a little brush. I have to be very gentle with this one because mine broke. So I'm gonna take this and I'm going to focus this in the outer corners and bring it in towards that inner corner. So this color is not as pigmented as the other ones. You definitely have to build it in, whereas I feel like the other ones are pigmented straight from the pan. This one you definitely have to build. To go in with the brush that I used Cray Cray with and blend in the edges. I am getting a little bit of fallout with this color. It's not as smooth as the other ones, but I know that these darker shades are a little bit harder to curate. I'm going to take a little bit more of Bomb Diggity and I'm going to apply this to the crease again just to kind of blend everything out. Bomb Diggity is probably my favorite shade. Like, it looks so pretty, so natural, and it just blurs everything. Living for that color. I'm going to go in with a little bit of the black, which is called Oddball, and I'm going to take this using a new Wet n Wild brush, and I'm going to apply a little bit of this in the outer corner. The black is not going as intense, it's more on the sheer side. You do have to build it up, so you do have to go in a couple times in order to get the pigmentation that you want, because it's not pigmented from the moment you apply. Like, it definitely does apply, but it's not like a super pigmented black shade. It's a little bit more on the sheer side. So yeah, I'm gonna go in with a mixture of Cookie and Oddball one more time, and I'm going to bring this in towards that inner corner and kind of line my lash line with this color. Go ahead and take the shade In One Ear, which is this really pretty kind of burgundy shade. Has a nice shimmer to it. I'm taking it using a Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadow brush, and I'm just going to apply this right here in the inner corner. Okay, so this shade is very beautiful, but it's definitely one of those shades that if you want it to have a ton of pigment and if you want that sparkle to kind of come through, you are going to have to wet the brush, because this is the eyeshadow without it being wet, and it is really pigmented, but if you really want that metallic sheen, I feel like you're definitely gonna have to wet the brush. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the shade Redonkulous, which is this brown shade right here. I'm actually gonna take it with my finger, and I'm going to apply this right on top of where we applied that burgundy shade. Okay, so that color is very, very pretty. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more of Cray Cray. And I'm going to just apply this to the crease one more time just to blend everything. I'm gonna take a little bit more of the black and re-intensify it. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of the black in a flat definer brush. This is a Morphe E43, and I'm just going to apply this to my lash line as close as possible to my lash line. Okay, so I'm curious to see how the eyeshadows are going to perform wet. I did apply that Redonkulous shade in my lid. I can't see it, and I feel like I need to wet my eyeshadow. So I'm going to take a little bit of Fix Plus. I'm going to just spray my finger with the Fix Plus, and I'm just going to go right into Redonkulous with my finger wet and apply that right in the inner corner one more time. Take a wipe, and I'm going to wipe off the fallout. I wanted to leave the fallout so you can see how much you can expect from this palette. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe that off. I really quickly applied concealer to my under eyes just so we can go ahead and finish the eyes. I'm going to take a mixture of Cray Cray and Cookie, and I am going to apply that to my lower lash line. And then I'm going to take Oddball, which is a black shade from the palette, and I'm going to apply that tightly under my lashes. I'm going to line my waterline using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Matte Highlighting Pencil. This is technically for your eyebrows, but I love it to line my waterline. So I'm going to apply this right in there. I'm going to really quickly finish my face, and then I will be back to talk about my thoughts and opinions on this palette, because I do have a couple. So I'll be right back once my face is done. Okay, so I popped on my wig. If you can see it, I'm sorry, I am getting used to it still, but you know, I wanted to do something different with my hair. I feel like for the past, I don't know, 3 videos, I've been doing the top knot, and I wanted to do something different today. Okay, so now that I have gotten the chance to play with them and feel for the eyeshadows a little bit more, I can kind of give you guys my final thoughts. I think this palette is perfect for beginners. This is the palette, this is the type of palette where if you are starting out with makeup, you are going to absolutely love, because the eyeshadows, first of all, they are gorgeous. The color selection is beautiful, but I do think this is the perfect palette for beginners because of the formula of the shadows and the way that they are pressed. These are the types of shadows that you definitely need to go in a couple times to build up to the intensity that the shadow can be. This is not the type of palette that you go in one time, put it on your eyelid, and you get the color that you want. You definitely have to go back in a couple times in order to get the pigmentation that you are going for. And I think that that is great for beginners, because when you are just starting out with a smoky eye, just playing with makeup, you definitely want to start off small and then blend your way up, because if not, it could be too much too quickly. So I actually think that's what Laura was going for. She was going for a more beginner-friendly palette, and I think if that's what she was going for, she nailed it. This is a palette for that, because like I said, when you first tap your brush in there, it's not as pigmented as you would expect it to be. You definitely have to build up. I do love the formula, especially of the matte shades. I do really like those formulas. The shimmer shades are lacking a little bit for me. When I think of shimmer, I think of foiled, I think of glitter, I think of pigmentation, and they swatch really beautiful, really pigmented, but once you apply them on the lid, I have eyeshadow everywhere, but once you apply them on the lid, as you can see, it kind of looks like my shimmer has faded a little bit. I don't see it as intense and as shimmery as when I first applied it. So however, this shade right here, Scatterbrain, this is what I have in my inner corner and up in the brow bone. I wish the other 2 shimmer shades I tried were as pigmented as Scatterbrain, because that would have been absolutely gorgeous. Scatterbrain is foiled, it's pigmented, it's wet looking, and that's kind of what I like for shimmer shades. So I could definitely see how that could be a personal preference for me and not for other people, but you know, when I think of a shimmer, that's what comes to mind. I definitely have to play with the shimmer shades a little bit more just to see if maybe using the eyeshadows wet, I get a more intense look. Maybe I have to use a different brush. So I still have to play around with them, but just straight from the pan, I do see them fading a little bit. I want to talk about the black shade. This black shade actually has a little bit of shimmer in there, which is weird because I have never seen a black eyeshadow with some shimmer. But again, I feel like it's kind of fading a little bit. It's not as black and as intense as it was when I first applied it, but I think it looks beautiful because it's like a natural smoky eye. Like, this is such a natural palette that I do love it. It's weird because I love myself a super intense smoky eye, but when I have something like this on, then it just looks so soft and everything blends because of how beautiful the eyeshadows blend into one another. I love it. So I am not too mad that the black is not super pigmented, but you know, I don't know how I feel about the black, to be quite honest. I keep looking at myself because Like, I love it, but I think a little bit more pigmentation would have been okay too, you know? But I do love it. Like I said, I love how the eyeshadows work with one another and how they blend so seamless into one another. Like, these eyeshadows blend in like a dream. The only thing that's lacking for me is the pigmentation of the shimmer and of the black. But other than that, I think this is a great palette. Also, you guys, this is her first launch. There is room for improvement. I'm sure she's gonna learn from this palette and apply it to her next launches and all that. And honestly, for it being her first palette, I think she did a great job. I'm excited to see more stuff from her company because, again, I do love the palette. It's just minor details that I'm lacking. That's just because I'm a little picky, but I do really like it, and I think that if you're a beginner, you will really love this. So yeah, that is my final thoughts on the palette. Like I said, great for beginners. I do wish the shadows were a little bit more pigmented, but I think it's still an overall great palette. Is it my favorite go-to palette? Probably not. I am going to continue to use this, but I have other palettes that I like a little better that have, you know, more colors. But do I see myself using this again in the future multiple times? Yes, absolutely. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, give the video a big thumbs up, hit the notification bell so that you can get notified every single time I upload. And that's it. So until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.